Hello and welcome to Bounding the Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding the Comics. And today I got a story about the newly announced Star Wars The High Republic host Krystina Arielle and her comments about white people, specifically her calling all white people racist. So Arielle recently announced she would be hosting the Star Wars The High Republic show on social media. She wrote on Twitter, "I can officially scream. I'm the host of the new official series, Star Wars The High Republic Show." Arielle was announced as the host of the new show when Star Wars and Lucasfilm officially launched their High Republic publishing initiative. On StarWars.com, they wrote, quote, "The panel introduced host Krystina Arielle, who will be taking fans on a deep dive behind the scenes with creators, artists, and authors in the new series, Star Wars The High Republic Show." In a live stream accompanying the launch, Arielle provided a brief pitch about the show, saying, "If you're anything like me, you've probably got a lot of questions about this exciting new era of Star Wars, and luckily for you, I'm going to be sitting down with creative forces behind the High Republic to get those answers." She added, "Each episode, we're going to take a deep dive into the mythology, characters, and stories we know you're going to love from this exciting new series. So whether it's the evolution of characters, minutiae of story, or how the High Republic will be brought to life on different platforms, nothing will be left undiscovered by me and my rotating cast of panelists and celebrity guests." So it's pretty clear she is doing the High Republic show. She is employed by Star Wars and Lucasfilm. And it'll be interesting to see if the show will also cover Arielle's opinions about white people, as well as she has made her opinions very clear about them on Twitter over the past year. So, as first reported by Disney Star Wars is Dumb, Arielle took to Twitter in May, where she wrote, "White people, effing stop it. Your racism won't save you. Your ignorance is not an excuse." It was a response to a blue checkmark named Jeff Yang, who detailed a scenario, who wrote, "So I had my first breathing while Asian moment. Went out for groceries and an older masked white woman passing by the line shouted 'F you' at me for no apparent reason. As I stared at her, she pulled off her mask, coughed directly at me, turned on her heel and walked off." So there was a problem with one white person, if there was a problem, if you believe Jeff Yang's story, and Krystina Arielle decided to call all white people racist over that. And this isn't an isolated incident. She has had lots of problems with white people, according to her Twitter feed. In June 2020, she would specifically target white women when responding to an Axios story about then Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany describing the coronavirus as the Kung Flu. Arielle wrote, quote, "Just a reminder that white women are just as complicit in the upholding and enforcing white supremacy." She also declared in October, quote, "Watching two white men discuss racism they will never experience will never sit right with me. Hashtag debates 2020. In a follow-up, she wrote, "White man, this is not the subject for you to try and speak authoritatively in my comments. I said what I said." In September, she accused white women of doing foul shit to her. She wrote, "The number of white women I've had do foul shit to me, then blame me for being intimidating, is mind-boggling." In July, she wrote, "I don't want to see not one more think piece written by a white person about why they think all black people will vote for Kanye West. You sound dumb." She then added, "Before one more person asks me why, it's because white people seem to think that black people exist as a monolith and only believe one way. They think that when one black person says something, we all feel that way. Basically, they're ignorant." That's really interesting. She thinks that white people think all the same way, and then she goes and says that that all white people are ignorant. That's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling logic there. Earlier in July, she wrote, "If you are still participating in events where your flyer is all 100% white people, you are part of the problem. Don't just say, there are no black people represented here. Speak up. Many of my friends have the influence. Open your mouth and use it." In a subsequent tweet, she added, "Demand diversity. Don't just talk about it. And you don't get kudos for having one black person per every 6 white people. Fill more seats." Again in June, she wrote, "You do not have to comment under every post about racism, that you're trying to do better, have read XYZ, any combination of white people when you are white people. I do not care. Talk is cheap. I'm not here for your accountability checkup." Again in June, she wrote, "White people will defend a fictional character before they'll stand up for black people." This is in reference to the reports that Aunt Jemima was being canceled from the pancake syrup. Earlier in June, she demanded, quote, "I know too many talented black writers for y'all to still have white people writing your nuanced pieces on racism. Hire them and pay them properly. properly. Start with Joelle Monique and Twitter user I Write All Day. In a back and forth with one user, Arielle would imply that all white people are racist. She wrote, "I don't have an ego. I am also not a bully. I have said repeatedly I don't owe white people a conversation about racism. I've been living with it. They've been doling it out. I'm not entering a conversation where people are intent on not understanding me." In another tweet, she wrote, "Because white people can't let us have shit unless they consider themselves as the hero." In May, she wrote, "Your silence marks you complicit. I hear your silence louder than any noise. What's more important, your platform or your soul?" In a follow-up tweet, she added, "Black people are exhausted from carrying the weight of this country on our backs. White people need to carry some of the burden they place squarely on our shoulder." Arielle would also specifically take issue with white conservatives. She wrote, "White conservatives, please stop invoking racism like you give a shit. You don't. You just want to be able to say, what about when someone calls out 45 and his blatant racism." This was in response to a Scott Baio tweet where he said, "Hey, Wanda Sykes, why is it okay for Joe Biden to say something clearly racist, but Roseanne gets kicked off her own show that you are a writer on for making a mistake? Is it because you're a full of shit hack liberal?" In January, Arielle also wrote, "The incessant, not all me, not me, well I, immediate defensiveness reply thing that white people do anytime a black person posts about racism makes me super uncomfortable." She added, "The need you have to center yourself and your feelings in conversations about our pain and struggles is exhausting. It's not about you." In December 2019, she claimed a woman at a spa reported her to the front desk for looking suspicious. She wrote, "My husband sent me out for a full spa day to relax. I'm trying to relax, and a lady just reported me to the front for looking suspicious." So there's that. In a follow-up response, she added, "It's white people can't comprehend a person of color being in an establishment where they only expect to see white people suspicious." There's plenty of other examples if you go through her Twitter, so I just kind of gave you a little bit. This is the type of person that Star Wars and Lucasfilm is hiring. We know that they're hiring a lot of people like Arielle, as I've also covered Krystina Arielle's tweets. And we know that they like to attack their fans as well, as we've seen with Pablo Hidalgo and Hal Pickle. So this is Star Wars. This is Lucasfilm. These are the people that they're hiring. These are the people that are creating their stories. If you think that this type of rhetoric that they're pushing on Twitter isn't going to bleed into those stories, you're fooling yourself. So that's my take on this. You've been watching Bounty in the Comics. My name is John Trent. I'll have another video for you on Monday.